It's 9 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. Please silence your cell phones. At this time, I'd like to ask Representative Alan Baker if he would open our meeting in prayer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Heavenly Father, we're just very grateful just for this time we can share together. We thank you for this day. We ask that you be with those members that are absent. Particularly, we lift up then Representative Terry Collins as she and her family then have a celebration service for her mother with the loss of her mother. We just ask your strength and comfort for them during this time. We do ask that you just provide us with discernment. You provide us with wisdom as we have our business then conducted today here at the State House. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Clerk, please call the roll. Here.
Representative Keel. Here. Representative Drummond. Here. Representative Baker. Here. Representative Chestnut. Representative Collins. Representative Colvin. Here. Representative Crowe. Here. Representative Daniels. Here. Representative Ellis. Here. Representative Faulkner. Representative Lawrence. Representative Lovers. Representative Paramore. Representative Stubbs. Here. 9 members and a roll.
Thank you very much. Are there any visitors to recognize this morning by any members? Well, if not, we'll move into our agenda. Clerk, please call the first bill.
House Bill 187 by Representative Baker.
Representative Baker.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you and I have had some discussion on this. I know we had some good, healthy dialogue last week on this. It's where I want to continue then the dialogue on this going forward. So I'd say that this is still a work in progress on this bill. So if we want to make this then at the call of the chair or such then, or just to move forward as we continue to have discussion.
So we want more time to work on this bill with Representative Baker's working on it. So what we'll do is just not take the bill up today, and at the call of the chair, we can bring it back up at some point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Clerk, call the next bill.
House Bill 98 by Representative Treadaway.
Representative Treadaway, you're recognized.
Chairman, committee, good morning. This bill passed out of the House. It was actually the last bill up in the Senate when we stopped, but the funding has already been put there. This is the Alabama Law Enforcement Scholarship Fund for children and spouses in the state of Alabama law enforcement officers. And Mr. Chairman, with that, I'll answer any questions you may have.
I'm sorry. You were.
I don't know if I can repeat it again.
That was a riveting presentation. 30 seconds. Tell us again, just 30 seconds.
Okay, real quick. Alabama Law Enforcement Scholarship Fund. It provides scholarships for children and spouses of law enforcement officers in the state of Alabama. The bill came out of the House unanimous, I believe, last year. It was up out of committee in the Senate. It was the last bill before it died. The funding has already been put in it last year. The money's waiting there. The rules, and I don't want to speak for Mr. Purcell of higher education, but the rules have already been promulgated. They're ready to go. And we just need to get the bill passed through the House and Senate. And but the funding is already there, and I'll answer any questions.
So the $10 million, was that in last year's bill as well?
It was. It's up to 10. I don't believe it was 10. It was. Right, I believe it's around 8 million.
It was 8 last year, but that was in the bill last year as well.
Yes, sir.
Looks like any questions or comments on the bill? Representative Drummond.
I move to give the bill a favorable.
So, yeah, Representative Baker.
So the money that's already there, then is there then that same amount then being placed in the budget this year, or is there? In other words, I'm wondering, is there sort of layered? Is it duplicate money?
That's a discussion. That's part of the budget process. So we're
very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much.
So we have a motion for the bill to give a favorable report. Representative Drummond, second. Representative Yes. So Representative Keel, understand you're not going to offer the amendment. Is that correct? Okay. So the amendment it will not be offered upon Representative Keel's request. So any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk, please call the next bill.
House Bill 360 by Representative Sells.
Representative Sells.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee. HB 360 is a Second Amendment sales tax holiday. Will be the last weekend in August, including Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in August. And it will be firearms and related items. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
So any questions for the sponsor?
I got a question.
Representative Drummond.
Well, more of a statement and a question, Mr. Chair. Thank you. So as I understand, this is on all firearms?
Yes.
Do you have how much money that will be? I didn't see the physical note.
There's a fiscal note there.
What is it?
It's 380,000.
180,000?
380.
386,000.
Is there any other qualifications or anything else that would go into those individuals who would partake that during that weekend?
Could you give me an example?
Well, if I was going to buy a firearm, do I just go in and buy it? No background check, no nothing?
No. It's the same process you do now. You have to have firearm background check and everything, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm voting no
Okay.
for a number of reasons, because firearms right now are the #1 killer among young people. And it's real ironic to me that we can give a tax release or
Right.
exempt folks on Second Amendment rights, but we cannot save lives.
Right.
And when you look at the number of people and how much violence is happening throughout the entire state of Alabama, it is just unfathomable to me that we would do this and not do something to even safe storage of our young people so that guns won't make it on campuses. And we've had incidents throughout the entire state where there are so many guns on campuses and kids are being killed or injured. So I can't support this.
Right. And if I might say, most of these killings are done by guns that are not bought legally, right?
Any other comments or questions by Representative Paramore?
If it's appropriate, Mr. Chair, I move to give the bill a favorable report.
Is there a second? Representative Colvin seconds. Representative Stubbs, you have a question? No, sir. I was just raising for second. Any other comments or questions by committee members? All in favor say aye. All opposed? No. Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Clerk, please call the next bill.
House Bill 388 by Representative Faulkner.
Representative Faulkner, not in the room. All right, call the next bill, clerk, please.
House Bill 394 by Representative Lawrence.
Representative Lawrence.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members. HB 394 is a bill that's dedicated to the Freedom Quilting Bee legacy. For all of y'all that don't know what the Freedom Bee Quilting legacy is, it's a nonprofit organization in Wilcox County that actually teach youth as well as adults how to do the quilting. The famous G's being quilting. So this bill will actually exempt them from all sales taxes. And it also has a provision in there that will give the municipalities and the local county government the option to exempt as well.
So the fiscal note is $7,360 annually, and then municipalities and counties would be able to opt in.
That's
Any
correct.
comments, questions on the bill?
Move to give the bill a favorable report.
Favorable report offered by Representative Baker, second Representative Drummond. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Bill's given favorable report. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Member.
Clerk, please call the next bill.
House Bill 398 by Representative Lamb.
Representative Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. Appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today. What I have for your consideration is a sales and use tax exemption for a 501c3 called High Socks for Hope. It was a response to, it was started by Major League pitcher David Robinson from Tuscaloosa after the 2011 tornado that destroyed a large portion of our county. But now it really strives to help families in crisis, veterans, and homeless people. But so far, since 2011, it's served 20,000 different homes by helping them get refurnished after their whatever the national disaster. And another worth noting is that just this past year, 87 veterans have been transitioned from homelessness into new housing. And it's not just Tuscaloosa, it serves 21 different counties, Lee, Coosa, it's 21 different counties. And one of the most significant things this past year is that they furnished 3,500 pairs of shoes for kids in Pickens, Wilcox, Talladega, Dallas, and Sumter counties, including Tuscaloosa. Thank you for your consideration.
Representative Baker.
Thank you for the recognition, Mr. Chairman. Representative Lamb, thank you so much in working with us on this bill. We do have an amendment on this that does follow our consistent policy of allowing the discretion at the local level for the locals then to be able to make that determination in applying this sales tax exemption. So I much appreciate that. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would offer the amendment that basically just allows the locals the discretion.
Amendment offered by Representative Baker, seconded by Representative Crowe. Any comments or questions? All in favor of the amendment, say aye. All opposed? Amendment's adopted. Any questions? The fiscal note on this was
$1,900.
$1,900 to Education Trust Fund. Entertain a motion? Motion by Representative Crowe. Second, Representative Keel. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Bill's given favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members.
Thank you. Don't see Representative Faulkner. I will go ahead, I guess, and present his bill. He has a similar bill. It's for the community foundations. This would exempt, I think these actually are sunsetting. And this would extend this until August 31st, 2031 for the following community foundations, and they're listed in the bill: the Black Belt Community Foundation, the Central Alabama Community Foundation, the Community Foundation of Greater Birmingham, Community Foundation of Greater Decatur, Community Foundation of Greater Huntsville, Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama, Community Foundation of South Alabama, Community Foundation of West Alabama, the Limestone Area Community Foundation, the Walker Area Community Foundation. This does have the opt-in provision. The fiscal note on this for the ETF in total would be $161,000. So I'll entertain a motion. Bill given favorable report by Representative Baker, second Representative Crowe. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Bill's given favorable report. Thank you. With that, that completes our agenda. We are now due to hear a presentation from Hudson Alpha. Yeah, great. Welcome. Introduce yourself, please, and welcome to Montgomery.
I'd be happy to. Thank you, Chairman and Committee. I'm Kelly East. It is great to be back with you guys. It's hard to believe that it's been a year since I last stood here and was able to share with you all. But I'm the Vice President for Educational Outreach at the HudsonAlpha Institute for Biotechnology up in Huntsville, Alabama. And I'm just really grateful for the chance to be here and to get to say thank you and to share a little bit with you about the way over the past year we've continued to steward our time and energy and resources to impact Alabama's students and teachers and communities, specifically around science education and genomics and biotechnology. So there's a packet that should be with you all this in a folder. And I wanted to share a couple of pieces of data and statistics, but really wanted to spend some time just telling you a couple of stories of people and impact from the past year. But I think on the right side of your folder, there is a page that's got a picture of a jar full of beads. That may look familiar. We show you a picture of a jar of beads often, and that is our way every year of visually tracking our impact in education, both across the state of Alabama as well as more broadly, where we put a bead in a jar every year for every learner that we've impacted the previous year. So there's 1.7 million beads in the jar that we filled last August, which there's a lot of those that are digital interactions, people who downloaded apps, watched videos, did things on the computer that we didn't see face-to-face and can't track exactly who they are. But also in that jar are almost 100,000 trackable K-12 students that have used resources in classrooms or have come to our programs. Several thousand teachers that we saw face-to-face and got to encourage and empower and equip. And so we're really proud of those numbers. There's also a page in your folder that has a map of the state of Alabama that has, it's tracking the percentage of schools in every state or in every county that we are engaged with in some way, that we're training teachers, they're using resources, their students are engaged in our programs. We track that every year, and when I went back and compared that to last year's map, there was noticeable increases in engagement in several counties of Jackson and DeKalb and Russell and Dale. All of those counties got darker shaded on our map since last year. We have some teacher workshops coming up this spring in Walker and Sumter counties, and we continue to look for ways to plug in and further expand our reach really across the state. As that is our mission to reach not just the areas that are within the geographic area around where we work every day, but really get out across the state and engage. There's also a map of the institutions that we're engaged with, both at the 2-year college level and the 4-year level, where students are coming to us for internships and experiences, as well as programs where we're engaging with students on those campuses, where they can engage in Hudson Alpha science and workforce training without having to leave their campus, through mentoring faculty and running projects there as well. But as proud as we are of those really big numbers and statistics, at the end of the day, it's about people. And so there's a page behind those maps that have the faces of 3 of that million learners that we impacted last year. And some quotes, and I just wanted to share for a couple of minutes tell you a little bit more of their stories, because we get to have the front row seat of getting to engage with those students and see those transformational experiences, and I wanted to bring you into that a little bit. So the photo at the top of that page, that is a young lady who is a middle school student at a school in Huntsville City Schools, where we have been engaging with schools around the Madison County area in a month-long biotech club on their campuses called Spark. And we, at a place like Hudson Alpha, we in education really have a unique opportunity of getting to bring authentic, real science to students, because there is incredible science happening at Hudson Alpha in our research labs, and we have an opportunity to engage with teachers and students and bring those two things together. And so we are always looking for ways to bring students in authentic ways, where they're not just pretending to do real science, they're not simulating science, but instead they're actually doing real science, either in programs at Hudson Alpha, or in this case, actually on their school campus. And so the way this works is students come to Spark for 4 weeks after school. We go to them to try to reduce barriers where they're not having to get somewhere new. We handle transportation and those types of pieces for them, but they are in their school lab doing real science experiments alongside the science of Hudson Alpha, trying to understand whether changes in DNA cause cancer risk. That's a really big problem that we've got middle school students helping us try and solve. And that sounds it is really big, but it also is beautifully connected to what students should be learning in 7th grade about how DNA is the blueprint for life. And so it has been incredible to get to watch students get bought into that we're teaching them things, we're teaching them to do experiments, and they care a lot because they know science is counting on it. And the things that they're learning are not things that we already know the answer to, that they are truly being student scientists. And that they are getting that confidence. And that's one of the things that young lady said, that she came in not really sure what to expect, and she learned things she never thought she'd learn, and she left that program with confidence that this is something that she wants to do more with. The next individual that's on that page, the picture in front of you, that's a community college student. He is still a student at Calhoun Community College and applied to be in a program called Biotech Launch at Hudson Alpha, where students in 2-year college programs or stackable certificate programs can come to us for a 2-semester program, where the first semester they're learning skills, they're working towards a biotech certification, and then the second semester they get placed into an internship on our campus in a company, in a lab. This particular young man, he came to us with an interest in gardening and botany and plants, and so he did his internship in the greenhouse on Hudson Alpha's campus, and it was great. And when students are excited about what they're doing, they do a wonderful job. And he, at that point, caught the attention of one of our faculty investigators, that his enthusiasm, his skills, that he was then encouraged to apply for another role at HudsonAlpha. And he's still with us, and maybe for a while and for a long time as he continues his schooling and his career. And that program is uniquely situated to try to broaden our workforce and create on-ramps for students into biotech at all kinds of levels of education. And then finally, the individual at the bottom of that page, that is Narissa Doremus. She's a longtime teacher at Thompson High School that we met for the first time in 2010, so not too long after HudsonAlpha opened and started our work in education. And she is, she's amazing, and we've had the privilege of coming alongside her over the course of her career. She has come to every single summer program we've offered to a teacher. She has come to all 6 rounds of our teacher workshops where we go around the state. And we've gotten to watch her move from being into a role of being a teacher leader, of winning awards and standing up as a leader across the state and across the country in science education. And we can't take all the credit for that, but we're so glad to be able to play a small role. And it really puts on display how we're able to connect with teachers over the course of a career, that we've got models where we're going back to communities every other year, and teachers can count on us for showing up, pouring into them, bringing them new resources, and that as they have questions throughout the year, that we can be their phone a friend, that it's not a one-time engagement, that we really are building enduring relationships with teachers as well as with students as they move through their educational journey. And so the quotes and the comments that are on that page, one thing that stuck out to me as I was pulling those that comes up a lot is that word confidence. It shows up in all 3 of those quotes on that page. And that is powerful, that as much as we want to teach students skills, we want them to come out knowing a lot more about DNA, perhaps just as, if not more important, we want them coming out of engagements with us confident, that they understand and that they have a place in science and that they belong. And because if you have confidence, that sets you on a trajectory where you're going to stay in that space and you're going to keep learning and growing. So those are the stories. As I wrap, a few other updates. We're really excited that as we look ahead just a couple of months from now, that we will be moving into our spaces in the Wiregrass Innovation Center down in downtown Dothan, Alabama. HudsonAlpha is an anchor tenant of that space, and I'm really excited that a part of that is a teaching laboratory. So we will in a couple of months, be able to start offering lots of field trips and summer camps and teacher trainings and reaching in person through really authentic, enduring experiences, teachers and students in an area of the state that it's not easy to get to our facilities in Huntsville. I've also provided for you a sheet that we've sent out to all of our biology teachers and life science teachers across the state of the upcoming workshops that we're doing. The upcoming workshops in Birmingham and in Sumter County and Walker County, ways for teachers to engage with us during the rest of the spring semester, as well as come to one of our 2 locations, Huntsville or Dothan, for week-long summer residential programs for teachers as well. There is a guidebook. You will notice that this says 2025, and realize that. We publish a new guidebook every year at the very beginning of March, because our guidebooks tell the stories of really amazing things that happened in science in the previous calendar year, and it takes us a couple of months to get all of those researched and written. And so as we speak, that is going through final review to hit the printers. And so you'll get the 2026 guidebook just as soon as it is hot off the press. We'll put those in the mail to you. But these are books that we write and publish every year, and for a number of purposes. One, we want you guys to see them. We want you to read them and to be a resource to you in genomics and biotech and what's happening in the fields and how that's going to impact us and our worlds around us. But also we send these out to all of our teachers so that they can bring these into classrooms and bring the science that's way too new for textbooks to their students as well, and bring a little literacy and reading along with it. Finally, the last thing I wanted to highlight for you, just so that you can be aware of resources that we're putting out there for teachers that we've developed this past year. I didn't give you all one of these, although we'd be happy to if you'd like one, but there's a magnet in your folder that looks like this right here. This is a pretty hefty book, and this is our compendium for biology teachers. And what this is kind of like a field guide for the new biology course of study that came out just within the last year. And this is a way for teachers to figure out how and get ideas for how to bring that course of study to life in the classroom. So it is laid out through the lens and the format of the Alabama biology course of study, but it is full of learning targets of how can this look really well in a classroom, of creating learning experiences, and what should students be coming away knowing? What are vetted resources and activities teachers can use to teach each of those concepts? What are student misconceptions that are tied to those concepts? What are some teacher tips and tricks? So this was a labor of love, really, to be written by our team at Hudson Alpha, as well as bringing in other partners like A+ College Ready and AmSty, and then a team of teacher experts, teacher leaders from across the state that came together and put this together to make lives a little bit easier for our teachers, where everyone's not having to do all the same work. That this is a field guide, it's a roadmap, it's a really valuable resource for our teachers to be teaching high quality instruction and activities that are tied to our state standards. So with that, I could sit here and talk all day about our programs and our students and our learners, but thank you for letting me have a few minutes to share some highlights and extend an open invitation if you ever want to come and visit and see programs in action, or you've got questions, comments, certainly right now as I'm standing here in front of you, but throughout the year as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Easton. Thank you so much for who you represent, Hudson Alpha. They're a great resource for our state. They're a gem in our state, and we are happy to support your efforts and want to see that continue to grow. I'm not even looking to my right because I know Representative Daniels wants to say something. So, Representative Daniels, you're recognized.
Well, literally, Mr. Chairman, Jim is a Jim. Jim Hudson at Hudson Alpha. He is an amazing visionary leader in our state, and certainly appreciate him and a dear friend. I think one of the things, Ms. East, one of the things that I've always had some concern about regarding the state as a whole. I looked at our 4th grade test scores in science, and I'm certainly not pleased with those scores. And so with the work that you guys are doing at Hudson Alpha, is there any way for us to be able to expand some of the work that you're doing to students across the state of Alabama? Because like I said, I'm very concerned about our test scores, and so I'm not certain as to what we're doing. Hopefully the AmSty kits are not sitting in the back of the classroom or outside the classroom. It doesn't appear that there's a lot of time to deal with science, so we have to depend on programs like yours, summer and probably after school at some point, those type of programs to really fill the gap on where we are in science. We can't, in North Alabama, we can't have a focus on science and technology when the science scores are subpar. And so any ideas, any thing that you guys are trying to do, or where we can plug in as a state, or to help our students elevate the emphasis in science?
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's one that isn't easy to solve, because if it was easy to solve, we would have solved it already. And it's one that we at Hudson Alpha, and I know other organizations are as well, approaching from multiple angles of thinking about what can we do that's happening during the school day that's attached to the standards, and how do we best equip teachers to bring those science topics to life. So they're, we firmly sit in genomics and biotech in that area of STEM. And where that starts in Alabama course study is actually in third grade. There are standards where students in third grade are thinking about families and about traits and about how things are passed down and how DNA, not that they're learning really in depth about DNA in third grade, but they're being introduced to this concept of heredity. And so I think when I was here last year with you, I was part of one of my updates was that we had created a third grade module to go out through AMSTI to our third grade teachers. And so that's in the process of being rolled out through trainings and being implemented in those elementary classrooms. And that is supporting the standards and what's being taught in the academic school day. But then there's, to your point, also thinking about what happens outside of school. How can we bring science into after school programs, whether those are our programs where we're coming and running them, or whether we're thinking about how do we infuse science into after school programs that are being run elsewhere. We have a project that we have been piloting this last year, working with the Boys and Girls Clubs of North Alabama, so in our backyard, but then thinking about how can that go broader, where we aren't going into all of those clubs, but we developed activities that are aimed for 3rd through 5th graders, so trying to get younger, and we've trained their staff and put materials into those clubs so that they can bring science to life for those students in the out-of-school time windows. Yeah, you're absolutely, the point is well taken that there's so many competing priorities for the school day. There's absolutely opportunities for using that time as well as we can and bringing engaging hands-on activities and really interesting stories around that to pique students' interest and to help them help bring those subjects to life. But then I think it's also what else can we be doing outside of the school day as well, and how can we do that across the state, not just in particular pockets that are near hubs of biotech. How do we really think about delivery mechanisms? And that could be through community partners or after school programs as well.
I've heard Representative Daniel's sermon many times on this topic. We as a state have, of course, have the Literacy Act. We have the Numeracy Act. A lot of focus on math and reading. We're seeing results there. And the point he's making, which I think is a valid point, is in the science field, which affects so many parts of our industry in the state and our, agriculture and the whole thing. What can we do as a state to further emphasize that? And so we need to work with the Department of Education, people like yourself, to address that.
Right. Science teaches students to be curious and to ask questions and solve problems in the world around them. And regardless of whether they become scientists or go into other careers, those are skills that you learn in science that are really critical to move things forward.
Any other comments or questions? Well, thank you again for being here. Thank you again for what you do, the support you provide to the state, the resource you are, and any ideas you have that can help us with the mission to improve our science scores, which gets down to the teaching of science. We welcome your input. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Any comments or questions by anyone? If not, we stand adjourned. Thank you.